Hi, I'm about to read to you from a new story, and for right now, let's just call the title of this The Little Pig, Chapter 1. The squeals of his brothers and sisters woke the little pig as bright morning rays of sunshine, rays of light pierced the barn's darkness. Little Pig, Little Pig, it wasn't really his name. No one had ever given him a name, so far in his short life. He didn't even know what to call the one large pig that was in the pen with him and his siblings. In fact, he didn't even know that he was a pig. He would eventually associate her with the taste of milk, warm milk, and how nice a full belly felt. While his brothers and sisters, they only seemed to eat and sleep, well, the little pig would spend hours looking outside his little pen, beyond the bars that was his world, and even beyond the pens that held other pigs that were nearby. The most interesting thing to watch, though, walking between the pens with these other creatures, they made noises to each other completely different than the little pig and his family, what the sounds that they made, as well as the other pigs in the surrounding pens. After many days of observing these creatures and the sounds that they made, he figured out the idea of names and how they used them to call each other. He could see that Roy walked the pens in the morning. He knew it was Roy because if another creature said, "Hey, Roy!" then he would come to them. As for himself, at some point he thought, I am me. Not even realizing what this could mean, or that no other pig in history had ever had this idea. Still, he had no name for himself. Not like these strange creatures. Day after day, after day, after day, the pig ate and slept, and he did his favorite activity. He looked, and he learned. Now, he could count. He had heard the strange creatures as they pointed at each of his siblings, and it finally clicked what they were doing. The two-legged creature's grunts made more sense to him every day for the little pig. They called his mother Sow, but the other large pigs in the other pens, they were called the same. His mother, though, he didn't know that word, mother, she didn't have her own name, so he decided to call her Milk. Should he name himself? He couldn't decide. Each day, the little pig and his brothers and his sisters ate and slept and grew and grew. He also kept observing, something none of the other little piglets did much of. In fact, he did more looking himself than all the other pigs combined. In the afternoon, it was mostly the two-legger Kevin who was around the most. But finally, one day, there was a change in the morning routine, a big change. Roy led Milk out of their pen outside of the barn. Of course, the little pig and his family, the brothers and sisters, they followed her as well. And then, wow, all the new smells and sights came racing to the little pig's senses. Outside, he saw the biggest pig ever. He had learned the word pig, and it seemed to mean some sort of creature with 4 legs. Sow and all those other little piglets too. But this pig that he saw today was really impressive. First, it was quite tall, and it had 4 legs like him, but they were far longer legs than the little pig had ever seen. Also, its grunts were different. But most impressive of all was how fast that this pig could run. This pig could run so powerfully that even Roy could sit on its back, and still it was fast. Of course, as the days passed, the little pig continued to grow, and now he was half the size of Milk. So, In the days that he spent outside, he guessed that this tall pig was 3 times the size of his mother. He guessed that the creature's name was Boy, since Roy would often say, "Easy, boy," or, "Whoa, boy." Wow, whoa, well, whatever, wow, I think it was. Could this pig jump? He had a much bigger pen than the little pig in his family. So Boy had space to run and jump a lot. If the little pig stood up on his hind legs, he could see Boy, better, prancing and dancing and snorting while leaping about. One day, Boy even leaped out of his pen, causing Roy and Kevin to chase him about until finally Boy got hungry enough to eat the oats that was in one of their hands. For days, the little pig would imitate Boy, also prancing about his pen, and could he jump over the fence like Boy? He wanted to try. First, he jumped up beside the fence, just to see if he could get high enough to get over it. "Eek," he cried, "I'm not even halfway." That was only good enough to jump over Milk. The little pig's eyes lit up when he got an idea. "What if I jump onto Milk's back and then I jump over the fence?" The little pig waited until Milk was just the right distance from the fence and stood still. And finally, he got his chance. In a burst of speed, he sped across the pen. He leapt up on his very surprised mother. He skied upward and smacked head first into the top of the fence. Top rail. Then he landed in a pile. "Is it nighttime?" said the little pig. "It's kind of dark. And are those stars I see?" After a while, he could finally get back up on his feet and see that it was not night at all. Milk was squealing in fright. She was totally confused as to what had landed on her back. The only creatures around her were her growing piglets, one of them that was sleeping in a rather peculiar position. Finally, the little pig was able to stand and stagger about a bit and reflect upon his experiment. The next day, the little pig noticed stairs going up the side of the barn. "Oh boy, could I use something like that, just one step higher." "Oh yes, that's what I need. I need another step." The little pig remembered seeing Roy play with the straw on his feet. The straw. If he could get the straw to get long, let's see, when you pulled on one piece, yes, and then the little pig thought, "Oh, the next time Roy gets into the pen, I could have him as another step if I can line Milk up with Roy. And the day if Roy leaned over and fixed the straw on his foot, and then I could have my own set of stairs." The next day, Roy came into the pen. He was going to clean it. The little pig waited until Roy was just in the right place, in the right spot, near the fence. The little pig dropped some tasty food. Here's some tasty food for Milk, where she could see it. And then the little pig returned to Roy and then pulled one of those pieces of straw as far as it would go. Roy laughed at the little pig's tug of war, and he bent down to retie his work boot. "They're all lined up," thought the little pig. He zoomed from the far side of the pen. He made sure that he was in a straight line with Milk, and then Roy in his sights, and then off he went. First, leap up onto Milk's back. Leap to Roy's back. Now, leap over the fence, and yes, over the fence. Indeed, he made it. The Milk squealed in terror, Roy squealed in surprise, and the little pig squealed in triumph. "I'm flying!" thought the little pig. Even Boy in the faraway pen took a look, because after all, how often can you see a pig fly? As soon as he landed, the little pig set his sights upon an open meadow, and he was cavorting about and zipping one way and zagging another while heading further into the woods that soon began. He kept going further and further and further from the farm. After several hours of travel, night began to fall all around the little pig. Soon it was completely dark, and the little pig's excitement began to give way to fear. Just a little bit. He smelled something yummy. Being distracted by his tummy, he forgot his fear. He munched and he munched until it was full, and then he nearly fell asleep where he stood. That's the end of the chapter, and I hope you like the story about this little pig so far. So now he's got his freedom. What's going to happen next?